earlier than we normally come on here on a Sunday evening, but I promised a car video after a 3-day long weekend of broadcasting college volleyball, college soccer today. It's been quite a weekend from 2 or 3 different states, but we're stopped on an Oklahoma highway. I think I promised either an Oklahoma or an Arkansas highway. It's an Oklahoma interstate, and yes, I'm out in front of a Love's right now. It's a great place to stop. I wanted to say really quickly that, yes, did get to see the selection from the NAIA for the Football Championship Series for 2025, and a shout out to the NAIA. Now, just a few thoughts really quickly, and I won't keep you long on this video. As a matter of fact, I have to get back out on the road. I'm not quite home yet, obviously, and I definitely want to be home on a Sunday night pretty soon. Nice to see my family again. Initial thoughts. First, Midwest Sportsnet, we're independent, and we're not, looking at any national affiliation or national organization. We're not going to shill for anyone. We're independent as a channel and definitely try to do a neutral broadcast all the way through. Having said that, though, initially, looking at the field of the 20 teams that were in, I think the NAI did a fantastic job. I think the selection committee did a fantastic job. And it's one of those things, this is back-to-back years that I look and say, they did really, really well. Was it exactly how I would have selected it? No, there were 1 or 2 things I might have done a little bit differently, but that's just me. And I didn't have all the information that they had. And so I just want to commend them. I think the field looks good, and I think it's going to be, a number of weeks heading for December 20th that are going to be good football games, some of them likely great football games. I think we have a lot in store ahead of us. So that's the initial thought. The other initial thought in listening to some of the breakdowns on other channels, get to watch NAIF ball and get to watch the Victory Sports Network as I'm driving, heading back home from a college women's soccer match this afternoon. The ARC rankings were used, and this is a big deal. They seem to be stressed, and actually Dr. Gotting, in talking with Corey, said that this was a big deal. They were using the ARC rankings more. Now, they still use the FPI, and they still use the Massey rankings, and they were a part of it too. But just to use that, I had no problem with that. And I think it is that much better now that the coaches' rankings are not part of the criteria. And that was one of the best decisions that could be made. I stand by that. That was one of the best decisions. They have numbers, they're legitimate metrics, they're computer metrics, and it's just something that's there. Are humans responsible for the rankings? Absolutely. And so the human element is still there, but you get part of the numbers as well, and without some of the again, poor optics. You avoid the opportunity for poor optics in that, so I think that was really good. Now, about some of the teams themselves, let's talk about the top 4 seeds really, really quickly in Grandview, in Kaiser, in Montana Tech, and in Friends. Absolutely, they did it right there. I thought for a moment that they might not, but over the course of this last week, I had the feeling maybe they would. It's not about me. I don't have any say in the matter, but was really pleased with how that turned out. That's not to say anything at all detrimental to Benedictine, but these were undefeated teams who ran the gamut. And to look at the way, you're looking at Grandview and Kaiser, who are in the national championship game last year, undefeated, still running the table in the regular season. I think I may have lost a little bit of light there. We'll see. There we go. Obviously at the top 2, deservingly at the top 2. Montana Tech and Kaiser with the seasons they've had and just dominating people and undefeated. So to give them the buys all the way through quarterfinals into a semifinal match at that point in time, well deserving of that. Another thing about it that we always have to realize that even with these seeds, they're, to an extent, they're numbers, because this is not a true bracket. It is named a football championship series, and rightfully so. And I commend the NAI for doing that. They never said it was a bracket. They said it was a championship series, and that's what it is. So there are going to be times, especially even in the first round, that you're not going to get the true bracket numbers that you might, teams playing one another. There are financial concerns, financial constraints, and it costs money to do these things. So, they have to make decisions on that so that the seeding may not play out as it would in a bracket. And to an extent, again, they're just numbers maybe, but they're good numbers and they're set up well. So props to the committee on that. Teams that have to look at themselves now. We wind down this car video here. One of them in particular is OUAZ. Ottawa has to look at itself and realizing one loss, you're on the outside looking in with one loss. It was a bad loss and it was at a bad time. And it was a frustrating loss, I'm sure. I was listening to the broadcast, at least the Louisiana Christian perspective. I'm listening to that broadcast driving back from Texas Wesleyan last night on the way to head to Arkansas today. And, Texas Wesleyan was still in it. They took care of business against Wayland Baptist, a very good Wayland Baptist team that came in on a 6-game winning streak. Texas Wesleyan could have put their heads down, said, we lost to OUAZ. What are we going to do? They absolutely did not. They won the game. But then Louisiana Christian, this is what they did 2 years ago to Texas Wesleyan. They went to Texas Wesleyan and tried to force a 3-way tie. And to get the automatic bid, they had to win by 10 or more points. And they did just that. They win 34-24, and they win by the 10 that they needed. They get the automatic bid, 3-way tie, but they go to the playoffs. This year, Louisiana Christian had to win by at least 60 or more points in the way the point differentials worked out. And, on paper, you're going, wow, there's no way they're going to beat OUAZ or OUAZ by 60 points. Man, listening to that broadcast in the third quarter, I was concerned that they might actually beat OUAZ by 60 points. The Spirit had a meltdown similar to what Texas Wesleyan did last week. So OUAZ, in essence, played itself out of a playoff spot. The other teams that have to look back on just one loss over the course of the season, and one of those would be, I think, Dakota State. And, we've been pushing for Dakota State here on the channel for a while. A great season, but that one loss to Dakota Wesleyan, and it was the season opener at that. So it's frustrating to look back on a tough loss like that one. That one was the one. McPherson, you look back on the K-Dub loss. That was a tough loss, and ultimately that was probably the one that kept the Bulldogs from being in the field. And then looking at the final arc tonight, Concordia, I don't know if you're watching this or not, Robert, but I would say Concordia, that lost to Midland because the Bulldogs, the Concordia Bulldogs, were ranked 6th in the ARC rankings. And how close was it? So, the Morningside, the Dordt, maybe not as bad, but that Midland loss, that was the one that probably kept Concordia on the outside looking in, though. But it's a good field, and we're going to talk more this week. So we will have a midweek show this week. It is likely to be on Tuesday, and then we'll be back again on Sunday to talk about the first week end of the playoffs. After that, if you mentioned anything in the chat, I think I saw something come up. I'm on the phone, really couldn't see everything as well, so I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone. It's good to get to visit with you all tonight. God bless you all. Thanks for watching the live stream. I, again, promised a car video. You get a car video. I'm not even sure exactly where I am. I'm in Oklahoma. I do know that. I did make it out of the natural state into the Sooner state, so I am in Oklahoma right now, and I think all goes well, possibly make it home by 10, so not that far away. It's good to get to visit with you all tonight. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that you all got to see the selection show, and I know hopefully some other channels you've had a chance to watch. Come back to Midwest Sports Net, and we'll talk again this week. In the meantime, God bless you all. Thank you very much, and we'll shut this off. Have a great night.